How rich is the Twitter data set?
The Twitter data set is very rich. In fact, it has all the thrills and chills of big data. It has the volume, it has the velocity, it has the variety. It also has the connectedness and the context. It also has a time. So actually, because you have the Twitter trends, so you can look at it and say what were the trends 5 years ago, what are the trends now, that kind of stuff. And it not only has the users, so you have the people who tweet about it, but also about the subjects. It has the hashtags, so you can look at and say what hashtags were popular, etc., etc. One of the interesting things, as I was, yesterday, day before yesterday, as I was talking about it, I thought, remember, people do time capsule. Right. So if we want to, collect all the things, about our civilization, and then send it to some in moon or something or somewhere, and when new civilizations come in, actually we can, if we pipe up all our tweets and send it, I think that will be the best one, because the new civilization can look at it and they find out what were our sports, what were our entertainment, what were our daily trifles, etc., etc. So the data is very rich, and it actually has a long-term impact in many ways.
So there's really never been anything quite like it, right? I mean, would there be something that's even similar?
If you look at all the things, first of all, it is a user-generated content, and that is why it has that value, right? And then millions of users are generating content in different contexts, whether it is a revolution or whether it is coming from soccer matches, whether it is about tech happening in the tech, etc., etc. Yeah, no, there is nothing about it. And another interesting thing is it's only 140 characters. So you have to be very clear and succinct. You can't write pages and pages about something. So not only thank you, this is a good point. Not only the information is rich, it's also very dense. And that is good, because you want dense information so that you can parse through and you can run through algorithms and you can make inferences out of them and that kind of stuff.
So at what point in Twitter's development did you start to really feel like the data set was catching on? I mean, did you catch on to it early? Or did it take a while for Twitter to hit an important point?
Oh no, it took Twitter a little while. In the beginning, when I was in Twitter for some time, right, for a few years ago, at that time it was more of a medium for up-to-date information, because Twitter is dynamic. You get up-to-date information and very clear cut, right, because you don't have to read through many things. So it was used in that way. At that time, a couple of years ago, the APIs were anemic. Right? They were not that, but I think suddenly Twitter realized that this is not only a medium to exchange information, it's also a medium as an infrastructure by itself. And actually good point. The interesting thing is the Twitter data set, as we talk about, right, is more rich and powerful because of the interfaces. And as the API matures and as they give more and more meaningful and APIs that can go in depth, the data set become more and more valuable.
Switching gears a little bit, is social network analysis, do you see that as a core data science skill?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a social, it's actually the network analysis, whether it is social or whether it is otherwise. What happens is that traditionally network analysis was used. It came from, of course, from the routers and various networks, that kind of stuff, where I used to work earlier in Cisco.
Right.
So that is where this was. Now you can actually network data. Like I was talking about earlier, for example, hashtags. Which hashtag go together? If you have a set of tweets, say if you take 1 million tweets from various things, you combine them together, you can actually find network primitives like clicks and that kind of stuff, and actually make some semantic sense out of it, not only the syntactic sense. So in a sense, network analysis and the study of the network principles is one of the important tools in the arsenal of a data scientist.
But to be clear, I mean, that predates our concept of, quote unquote, social network, by a long time.
Yeah, good. Actually, you raise another point. That interesting point is that doesn't mean all the primitives from the network, the various the study of network, the body of knowledge in network are applicable here. One of the interesting thing yesterday I was talking about that Twitter is not the same as LinkedIn, or it's not the same as Facebook. Twitter network, or the Twitter social graph, it is actually an interest network, because so you cannot just say the network, things like network diameter or 6 degrees of separation, they don't make in Twitter, right? If you are 6 degrees away from another person in Twitter, That doesn't mean you can actually reach out and touch that person, because you can't ask for, hey, can you introduce me to this that person type of stuff.
Sure.
But there are other things like clicks and a bipartite network. These kind of fundamentals do apply. So you have to look at the domain and say, okay, there is this body of knowledge from the network. Can I apply it into this domain? And then what concepts match in? So that is actually the work of a data scientist, right? Data scientists have to, the modeling part of it, data scientists have to look at it and say, does it make sense? How do I do these things? That kind of stuff.
Last question for you. How do you anticipate that Twitter's data is going to be mined in the future? I mean, what applications do you foresee? What's sort of on the edge there?
Well, there are tons of stuff. In fact, I was talking about the time capsule. I think we should time capsule Twitter anyway. There are actually multiple dimensions to it. One is the Twitter as infrastructure. For example, whether the revolution in the Middle East, or whether it is a hurricane or an earthquake somewhere, the Twitter as an infrastructure for information dissemination is an important aspect of things. So there would be applications there. It can address that part of it. Then there is the other part where, this is another interesting one. I was watching the basketball finals. So they had the ESPN has its own dashboard. So what I do is while I was watching on the TV, I also had the ESPN dashboard in my iPad, so that you can look at it, it'll give you the stats and who did what. In that one, there is a window which actually had a rolling Twitter. So it actually enhances your experience. Just like you can actually enhances your experience looking at tweets. But then it was okay, but it was not that interesting. But I thought that if they were able to put more things in a more meaningful semantic analysis, that kind of stuff, then it will be a lot more interesting to enhances the experience.
Oh, that's interesting.
Social science is one. I'm sure you know that there is a portfolio which actually people put money in based on Twitter sentiments. I thought this was a strange one. You put people like there is a portfolio, and you can actually look at the Twitter sentiments and say, "Oh, I think this stock might go up." I wish I had known this before I invested in Facebook, but that's a different story. The another thing that I found as I was doing the yesterday's tutorial was that Twitter has a lot of data. For some, I don't know the current number, but 400 tweets per day and that kind of stuff. It's huge. So they should. So the things that I found out was tools. There is an opportunity for a lot of tools to be a layer above the tweets, so that brand managers can look at their interesting things. Social scientists can look at their interesting things. People who want to predict things can look at it, etc., etc. So there are multiple dimensions. There are a lot of interesting applications. I think we have just started looking at this domain.
Interesting. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks.